Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Matt Selba. I'll be your instructor for quantitative reasoning this summer. I'm really excited to teach you all. A few things I want to do in this video. One is just kind of show you around on our D2L course page. Two, let you know what's going on in week one of our course. And three, for those of you who are in MAT152, I want to help explain what that's about. And that'll happen at the end of the video. So if you're not in MAT152, which is the support class, then you do not need to watch the end of the video. So first things first, if you haven't already, make sure you read the welcome message. I just kind of introduced myself, talked about what we're going to be learning this semester here, and then one of the first things you can do is fill out this student information quiz. Because this is an asynchronous class and it's online, meaning we do not meet in person or we don't have regularly scheduled Zooms either. This is one way I can get to know you all, so definitely fill that out. That'll be helpful for me. Throughout this course, we're going to be talking about different ways math is involved in polling, budgets, and real life data. So this should be a very helpful course for you all. You guys are watching the overview video right now. For the textbook, you guys want to obtain the textbook from the bookstores, the Quantitative Reasoning in-class activity student pages, version 2.0, Charles A. Dana Center textbook. Okay. If you're in the support class, you also need this book, Quantitative Reasoning Co-Requisite Support Activities, version 2.0, Charles A. Dana Center. Now, I do want to let you all know, you can access digital versions of this textbook, and you could actually type if you're a person who likes to type your notes. The other benefit from that is it's free. Personally, if I were taking this course, I would actually want the paper copy. I'm a person who likes to write out my notes. And this, if you buy the textbook, it's really nice because it's all organized in order of like how we're going to go through the course. So I would personally buy it, but you do have access to a digital file. And the thing with the digital file is you have to be very organized with saving and organizing and kind of looking back on your notes. So that's up to you. I'll leave that up to you. I'll show you how to access the digital version as in a second once we get to that point. Okay. So along with those lines, make sure you download and install Microsoft 365. I have a video posted on how to do that. That's free for Dell Tech students, so you have that at your disposal. These are the activities that we'll be covering in week one, and you'll see that they're Edpuzzle, meaning that they're videos that takes you to an Edpuzzle website, and you're going to sign up with the course code. I'll show you that in a second. You can also see the assignments below. There's a lot of mini assignments for this class, so organization is definitely key. One thing I like to do at the beginning of each week, and I'll do this during our first week as well, is kind of send out a recommended schedule for like what I would do by day to finish on time by the following week. Just so you all know, most of your assignments are due on Tuesdays at 2, except for the project assignments. Those are usually due on Thursdays at midnight. So I'll go over that in a little bit of detail here in a second. Okay. And before we go any further, make sure you fill out the honors pledge. It's basically just saying you won't cheat, you won't use ChatGPT or AI. I do know, or our system does know when you do that. So definitely be careful with that. You don't want to be having a academic dishonesty issue or anything like that. Okay. On the top right, here's our course schedule. I would definitely open that up in a separate tab. And week by week, this brings out everything for you. I spent a lot of time creating hyperlinks for every assignment, so you wouldn't have to kind of roll through the course page to find them. So please definitely use the hyperlinks as you need to. And if there's ever an issue with one, which there's bound to be if I did them all, definitely just let me know. So you have what we're going to be covering this week in the middle. So this is your lessons, class activities, and projects that are introduced. So you have the honors pledge, which I already talked about, your Unit 1 project overview, which is your first project, and then the lessons. And then along with those are the assignments. Now, I did also include the videos here as part of your assignments, just so you know that you have to do them. So make sure you follow that list, and that'll take you through next Tuesday. Okay, so that's our course schedule. Right below that is some information about myself. I am a full-time high school math teacher, so just so you know, this is my part-time job as an adjunct instructor, and I'm a full-time high school teacher. So along those lines, email is the best way to get in touch with me. And as an adjunct, I don't have regularly scheduled student hours. But if you do need to schedule a meeting with me, you can definitely send me an email. I'm happy to meet. It says a half hour before class. We don't meet during, we don't have a actual class time. But if we need to meet on Zoom, we can. And I actually have set aside Thursday evenings on Zoom from 5 to 7. So if you do reach out for help, I'm going to ask that we try to schedule for that time first, since I already have it blocked off. But if we really need to schedule a different time, definitely just let me know. Like I said, email is the best way, and you can expect a response within 24 hours, maybe two days if it's on the weekends. Okay. Cool. So that's our instructor info. Math support. So if you guys are having any trouble throughout the semester, there's free tutoring offered by Del Tech. Definitely take advantage of it. So this link will bring you to the virtual tutoring center. I'm going to send out a PDF of the hours for that tutoring center, as well as in-person tutoring, which is offered at Wilmington as well. So again, you have all that at your disposal. Some other things, if you guys click on content, you can look at our course policies and expectations. To get there, you want to click on the Start Here tab, go under course information to course policies and expectations. All right, just kind of rolling through, some, expectations for the course. First things first, communication. Definitely very important. If you're having trouble, if you're having an issue, you definitely need to communicate that with me. And again, email is the best way. If you could also include our class section, I do teach multiple sections. That's going to be helpful for me, helping, getting back to you quicker. Make sure you're checking your email daily. Treat it like your job, right? So check your emails, check D2L for announcements daily to make sure you're not missing anything. I already talked about my student hours on Thursdays from 5 to 7. Textbook, we already talked about. A scientific calculator is recommended. If you guys don't want to buy a calculator, you can get away with using desmos.com/scientific. That's a really fine online calculator that'll allow you to do most of what you need to do. So again, if you don't want to go out and buy a TI, that's at your disposal as well. The homework platform is Lumen. You guys don't need to purchase anything for that. That's already included on D2L. I'll show you how to access that in a second. And I already talked about how I ask you to download Microsoft Office 365. Definitely watch that video that's on the welcome announcement to do so. Late work. So before I go into late work, let's just go over the flow of the course just so you guys get an idea of like how the course works as far as assignments goes. So if you click on the learning cycle, this will kind of give you an idea. So the way it works is that you guys would typically, like if we met in person, we would have these in-class activities, which are basically like guided note-taking that we would have. Since this is a virtual course, these in-class activities that I'm pointing to, those are going to be videos that you watch on Edpuzzle while you take notes in your textbook. So you're going to have like a workbook that you kind of complete notes in. Okay. Now, before those in-class activities, we complete a preview assignment, and they help you build foundational skills. They help preview a little bit of the information of what we're going to cover in the in-class activity. The in-class activity is where you're going to actually take your notes. You're going to, hear about some contextualized problem related to what we're learning. Okay, and then the practice assignment is where you're going to practice what you learned during that in-class activity, right? During that Edpuzzle video. All of this leads up to your exams, which come in the form of weekly quizzes or lesson quizzes, and then as well as projects. And for the projects, you actually get to submit twice. The first one is kind of a rough draft or first draft, and the second one is your final draft. And I give you feedback on the first draft for you to make edits for your final draft. So that's kind of our system that we have here. So you'll be able to submit those twice. So I kind of went over that already. So that's our preview, in-class, practice, and individual assessments. Okay. Cool. So kind of going back, I just wanted to explain that just so you knew what I was talking about for the course policies and expectations for late work. Okay. So for late work, generally you want to make sure you submit everything on time, right? So that you're learning as the course is designed, in the timeline that they have, provided for you. However, we do know life happens. So if we ever need to submit certain assignments like preview and practice assignments, remember these are the ones that occur before and after the Edpuzzle in-class activities. You actually can submit them late, up to a certain date, with a 15% late penalty. So I did provide the dates for when's the latest you can submit certain preview and practice assignments. That's listed here, and it's basically the same as like the summative assessment, the final assessment for that unit. So for Unit 1, it's June 12th. For Unit 2, it's July 3rd. And for Units 3 to 4, it's July 24th. Okay. I always try to update my grade book at least once per week. Usually I'm a little bit quicker than that. I can even, if you submit something, usually I have it graded, within a few days, 2 to 3 days. Okay. Attendance, obviously this isn't a scheduled in-person class. There is a schedule though that you want to make sure you follow. So it's I do take attendance weekly as required by our Del Tech. So it's determined by you submitting assignments, right, and completing your assessments and participating in the discussion activities. So here's an overview of your assignments. 45% of your grade is from the projects. 15% of the grade is from other summative assessments, like those quizzes and end of unit, wrap up quizzes. The other 20% would be formative activities or quizzes, and then 5% is from the preview assignments, and 15% is from the practice assignments. Okay, so that they have some more information on that there. Okay, all right. So that's our course policies and expectations. Let me just go back to the Start Here tab to show you a couple other things. All right. So we already did instructor info. You're watching the video. If you're wondering how to complete preview and practice assignments, that video is very helpful to watch. That's there for you. And then, registering with Edpuzzle. So where do you find the videos for those in-class activities? That's going to be on edpuzzle.com, and you want to make sure you use our class code here. Make sure you create only one username and you remember what the login is for that, so that you don't create multiple accounts, because that can mess you up for your grade for the course. So make sure you only create one account. So it'll take you to Edpuzzle, and I'm already logged in, but it's going to have you create an account and make sure you use the class code to join our class. Okay. All right. So that is basically the basics of the course. Some other things, where to find assignments. Generally, the project assignments, as well as the weekly activity / wrap-up work assignments, those will be found here. Okay. There's a discussion board later in the semester, so that's going to be under discussions. Any of the quizzes would be here, so anything that says quiz or wrap-up will be here. One thing you'll notice is that the wrap-up assignments, they have a place for you to actually complete the problems. There will be multiple choice, fill in the blank, drag and drop select, right? So that's there. You can actually submit your work for those wrap-ups. You could just upload a PDF of your work, from your phone, and you could submit that here. And I can actually give you partial credit if, let's say, you're like 80% of the way there on a problem. I can actually give you partial credit for that. So definitely take advantage of that system where you can actually get partial credit for the quiz assignments that are called wrap-ups. Okay, cool. And that's all we have there. All right. So I guess what next thing I want to do is just kind of go over what we're doing in week 1. So again, I'm going to scroll back down here. So week 1 is focused on Edpuzzles 1A through 2C. So if you go to Edpuzzle, let me go to our course page, MAT152. You'll see the Edpuzzles organized by due date. Now, you may not see them in the exact order of 1A, 1B, and so on. So you might have to click through. So I would go to 1A, and that's going to be the first video that I watch. And that video is going to be related to the lesson in the textbook for 1A. So make sure you, as you're watching the video, once you hit play, you're also going to take notes in your notebook. Okay, so those are your assignments that are videos for this week, right? Then, as you're working through the course, you're going to be completing these weekly assignments to go along with them. Now, one thing I'll note is that before you watch the video for the Edpuzzle 2A, you want to complete the preview 2A first. So let me make this a little bit easier for you. This is an announcement I'm going to send out today as well. I created a recommended schedule for what I would do each day to help you kind of stay organized. So today's your first day would be Monday of the week, right? Complete the honors pledge, like I said earlier, that student information quiz, and we'll go ahead and watch the first 2 videos, Edpuzzle 1A and 1B. Then on Tuesday, go and complete Edpuzzles 1C and 1D. Now that you've watched all of the lessons for lesson 1, right, 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D, you can complete the lesson 1 practice, right? So notice how we complete the practice assignments after we watch the videos. Next up, you have your preview assignment for 2A, and you will watch the Edpuzzle for 2A. Now, there is no preview assignment for 2B and 2C, right? So we actually would just watch the videos right away. And then afterwards, we'd complete the practice for lesson 2, right? Because we already completed 2A, 2B, and 2C, okay? The videos for that. So now we're ready to go for the practice, right? Now, at the end of all that, we're ready to complete the Unit 1 quiz, Lesson 1, right? And the Unit 1 quiz, Lesson 2, right? Because Lesson 1 was all of the 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and Lesson 2 was 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. So after we're done with our preview, our Edpuzzles, and our practice assignments, we can then complete the quizzes. Now, that's a lot of information, right? So this is why it's really helpful to follow this recommended schedule, because I kind of put it all in order for you of what makes sense to do on which day to keep you on track. Not that you need to do them in this order, like, or sorry, on these days exactly, but this order is actually really helpful for like how and when to get things done. Okay, because there's a lot of mini assignments, and this just helps clear it up for you. At the end of the week, there's a week 1 activity that you would complete. Again, it's talking about lessons 1 and 2. Then we're going to start preparing for next week. We have the preview 3A, 3B, 3C, 4A, and 4B, and that's going to prepare you for next week. And then Monday is your Unit 1 project first draft. And again, that's just introducing your first project. One thing I would like you to do, as I noted here, is make sure we read through what that project 1 first draft is about. Okay. So first things first, let's go ahead and we'll do that here in a second. We'll talk about the project here in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about the preview assignment. So go ahead and click on preview 2A. All right, so just give you an idea of what this looks like. This is, you would watch a video, answer some questions related to it, fill in the blank, multiple choice, right? Fill in the blank. And then you would hit submit, and it would tell you which ones are correct or incorrect. So, and then that's kind of how the assignments work. And you can kind of see you have a lot of attempts. You have 99 attempts on this one. So, if you're wrong the first time, you have chances to get the correct answer. Many chances. Now, related to that is the practice assignments, which look very similar, except they're going to be after you watch the Edpuzzle videos. These ones, they don't have as many attempts, but you do get, like 5 attempts. So because you've already learned the content, they're a little bit more strict with the amount of attempts that you get for them. Okay. And then the other type of assignment, like I said, was the project. So the Unit 1 project. So first thing you want to do is read through the directions for the Unit 1 project. Just kind of going over the directions here. And basically, you're going to be comparing 2 different cities and the temperatures from that city. So Wilmington, Delaware, and Honolulu, Hawaii. So this kind of goes over how to do that. So you won't be able to do this project until you do lessons 1 and 2 from this week. So completing the preview, the Edpuzzles, and the practice assignments. Until you do that, you won't be able to understand what's going on here. And this gives you the directions on how to do it. This is the template in which you would fill out. So if you click on it, it'll download as a Microsoft Word document. So you can see that there. And it's loading. There we go. All right. So then on the next page, I would complete the template that goes with it. So the first page is the directions. The second page is the where you're actually going to do the work. Okay. All right, so that is the assignments. Are there any other assignments I need to go into? Oh, like I said, the quizzes. Let me go back so I can preview what the quiz will look like. So these ones aren't, always multiple choice. I mean, they could be. They are multiple choice and kind of fill in the blank, but they just look a little bit different than the preview and practice assignments. So you just take a look at those. Quizzes, week 1 activity. Sorry, I got to go back so I can preview it for you guys. Week 1 activity. We're going to go ahead. Okay, for some reason it doesn't let me preview this for you. So let me go ahead and see what's going on with that. All right, I'll just do this. Okay, so this is the week 1 activity that's kind of just getting you acquainted with the class. So it's asking you to kind of search through the class, almost like a scavenger hunt, looking for some certain things, emailing me at the end there. So it's not so much related to the lessons, but more so just related to the course layout instead. Okay, cool. They don't have any wrap-up assignments on here yet. Let me show you what that looks like and kind of where to submit that when we get to it. I think that's going to occur later, like in week 2. Double check here. Yeah, your Unit 1 wrap-up. And then where you submit your Unit 1 wrap-up work. Okay, so the Unit 1 wrap-up kind of looks a lot like the other quizzes that we had. So, for example, it'll look something like this. Obviously, like you're filling the blank, multiple choice, and whatnot. But to go along with that, you also have a place for you to submit the scrap work for that. And that's where you want to, you can take pictures with your phone. You can put them in a Word document. You can save it as a PDF and upload it. And I can actually... make sure you scan your work as a PDF. I can actually give you partial credit for anything that you submit. Make sure you number the questions so I know which number is related, like which number that you worked on is related to the work that you showed. It's much easier for me to give you partial credit if you do that. So definitely recommended. All right. Cool. So I just went over how to do all of the assignments and then basically just gave you a rundown of week one. I also showed you through the D2L course. The last thing, if you're in the MAT062 class, I'm going to go over the directions for that. If you are not registered for MAT052, you can ignore the last part of this. Okay, so you can just go and stop the video, and I look forward to hearing about your assignments and getting to know you throughout the semester. Now, if you're in MAT052, stay on. So we're going to go to the MAT052 course page. All right, so for MAT052, a lot of it's the same. I'm not going to go through every single part of the D2L page because a lot of it's the same as the other page. I do want to kind of go over our assignments, though, for this week. So I'm going to go over the course schedule and kind of go over week one course schedule. So in addition to the Edpuzzle videos that are required for MAT152, there are also Edpuzzle videos for MAT052. And so because of that, there's an additional textbook for MAT052, which I mentioned earlier. So when you click on content and you click on sign up for Edpuzzle under start here, so register with Edpuzzle, there's actually a different class code for this one in which you would watch the videos. Now, the majority of the course support class is actually these Edpuzzle videos that you'll be watching throughout the week. And what they do is they kind of help prepare you for what you're going to see within the lessons within MAT152. So again, the goal of the support class is to support you, right? So your goal is to look at additional avenues of resources and videos that'll help prepare you for the main class. Okay, so just give you a rundown of that. Go back to the home page and go back to the course schedule. Okay, so in week one in the support class, you'll be covering 1A through 3C. Because next week we'll be covering 3A, 3B, and 3C as well. So those are the Edpuzzle videos that you'll be watching as a support class. And then we also have a course information quiz similar to what we had in MAT152, kind of just testing your knowledge on what the course is about. So just give you a preview of that. Okay, so things like what's your instructor's name, how do you contact me, and so on. Okay. Now, some information about the course that's a little bit different from MAT052. MAT152 is a credit, that you have to earn, right? So it's not just like, oh, I'm in the support class, I just need to, do the main work. No, there's actually additional assignments, and it is a pass-fail course, right? So I do want to make sure you're aware of the breakdown of grades and kind of the expectations as well. So a lot of the course policies and expectations are the same for MAT152. The only thing different is really the evaluation measures on where your grade from MAT052 comes from, because it's not going to be the same grade that you get for MAT152. So 20% of your grade will come from the projects from MAT152. So there's not additional projects for you to complete. 30% of the grade will come from the quizzes in MAT152. Okay. 5% will come from the preview assignments in MAT152, so the main course as well. And then the practice assignments, 15%. So all of these four come from the main class MAT152. The only thing that doesn't is these weekly activities, right? So those would be the ones that we're going to be doing in the support class. Part of them are the Edpuzzle videos that you're going to complete. So that's 30% of your grade will come from what we do just in the support class. So just to let you guys know of where to find some things for assignments, and I'll hyperlink these each week. So you're going to have a grade for your Edpuzzles. Those are basically on completion, so make sure you watch the Edpuzzles. I'll be able to see which ones you completed, and obviously try your best. When you complete them, there's going to be options for you to submit an answer to a question as the video is going on, because it's going to prompt you. So look out for that. There's a notebook check every once in a while to make sure, hey, did you actually take notes in your notebook? If you didn't, make sure you do so. Okay. And then that's the course. And then some assignments are related to the projects. So project support, that's going to be listed there for you. I think that's it. And then the course information quiz, that's there. Okay. So for week one for MAT052, I also created a little mini schedule for you to follow. So in addition to the schedule for MAT152, these are the assignments kind of listed by day, recommended order, for you to complete for MAT052. So, you can definitely use this. Do you have to use it to a T? No, but it helps you kind of know what order to do things. It's a little bit easier for MAT052 because there's less assignments, and generally the letter of the Edpuzzle is kind of the order in which you want to follow it. So Cool. All right, so that's MAT052, and you'll be good to go on that. All right, so thanks so much for watching the whole video, especially if you're in MAT052. With that, I look forward to seeing your progress throughout the course, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks, bye.